we gotta talk about why another character is top tier, and this is one I think before Happy Chaos, he was probably the most hated. It's gonna be Nagoriyuki. So where we're gonna start is actually why people did not think he was very strong initially. So he actually does have a bunch of system weaknesses that other characters don't have, with a couple of exceptions. So one, we have a dash button in this game. We are blessed to have a dash button in this game, which he it's just not happening. No. Nor can he double jump, nor can he air dash. He can super jump. His jump and his super jump are slower than normal jumps. So if you know about frames, Milia's jump is 4 frames. So she is off the ground pretty quickly. It's a pretty standard number in this game. Where his jump is slower at 5, but then his super jump is 10. It's twice that. So he is just really not mobile in the system. So because of this, people were like, yeah, my man is really struggling. The other big reason was because of that little meter in the bottom left above his actual tension bar. That's the blood gauge. Before people really knew how to use it, they were just like, oh, if you fill up this thing, he dies. His special moves cost this special blood meter. So moves like this or this cost 90 points. So almost one full blood stock, where this costs around 45. So a pinch under half. And if for some reason you were to fill this up, he explodes! So he's going to take some guaranteed life while the blood gauge drains. Then you get a screen freeze and he's able to act right away. And characters can take advantage of this as well. So, for example, let's make him pop for fun. Okay, so as soon as he exits this, he's going to recover right away. So we're able to do damage on top of the damage he takes to himself from him maxing out that blood meter. So, and on top of that, in this mode, he also doesn't have access to any of his special moves. So outside of additional range that he doesn't normally have, he has an additional super move that if you follow this game, you've definitely seen in clips of people just dying. I almost want to say by accident because no one's ready for how much damage that does. Despite all these weaknesses though, he's still generally considered top tier. So let's take a look at some of the reasons why he is considered to be such a good character in this game. For starters, where he lacks in mobility, he more than makes up for it in defense. So there's a couple of ways that the game goes about giving you HP. So essentially, every character in Guilty Gear has the same HP at a baseline. So both Milia and Nago have the same base HP. Actually, everybody. It is 420, YOLO blaze it, you already know. But there are a bunch of modifiers that are on top of this baseline. So the main ones that we tend to care about are the character specific defense modifier and the guts rating. And these are two major factors in how much HP a character actually has. So as far as guts, there's 5 levels of guts. Guts is like a damage modifier that affects your HP the less life you have. So let's say if a move does 100 damage normally. For a character that has 2 guts, like Milia, that would do 50 damage instead when she has 10% life. Because when you have 10% life and you have 2 guts, when you have 10% life, you have a guts modifier of 50%. So the higher your guts level, 5 being the highest, the more you reduce damage, the less life you have. But then on top of that, there's also just a straight up defense modifier. So these two characters here are extremes, right? Milia has a very bad defense modifier. In basically all Guilty Gear games, she has a bad defense modifier. So if the standard is 1.00, which Lord Kyle has, he's got 1.00 defense modifier, then Milia is on the bad end. So hers is 1.18. There's only one character that's worse than Milia, which is Chip at 1.26. That's the worst defense modifier in the game. Now, Nago has a very good defense modifier. His is 0.96. So he's tied with Gold Lewis, and the only characters that have better defense modifiers are Potemkin, who has 0.93, and Geo when she has full HP, who also has 0.93. But we forgot the guts modifier, right? So he has a good defense modifier at 0.96, but also he has 4 guts. So it makes him very hard to kill. He's really, really good at taking hits. compared to Milia, who has average guts, so 2 guts. So that's why you'll see sometimes Milia will survive something that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe she survived that. But she has a really bad defense modifier. So what that means is there's a way to calculate how much HP characters truly have. So Milia, Lady Milia, has 452, which is very slightly more than the base HP of 420, where Nagoriyuki actually has the most HP in the whole game. So Nago's HP is at 590. He has the highest effective HP in the game. So what does this mean? He's allowed to make a lot of mistakes, and it's very hard to kill him unless you're a high damage character. If you're a mix-up or offense-oriented character, then you probably have to hit him multiple times, and it's very likely that he's also going to get his burst back because he has all this HP and can make all these mistakes. To get a real idea of how much HP this character has, so for starters, this is Milia's main corner combo that you're aiming for. So this is quite a bit of damage with resources. So this is around, let's give it an honest, like 65-ish HP, where on the super beefy Nago, so considering his total effective HP is 590, like we barely, this is me being polite, not quite hit 50%, let's say 48%. So you can just see like that's an ideal starter too. So imagine getting hit by strays or something. It just takes a long time to take him out. So then there's screen presence. So this also ties into mobility. So again, he can't run, can't air dash, right? Not very mobile, but he does have a lot of screen presence because of his special moves. So there is this is the lovingly called Beyblade at instant speed at 14 frames, so faster than humans can react. By the time you see it, you already got hit, or it whiffed, or you blocked it. For the people who thought they could run away and zone this character, he has this tool. Originally thought to be a useless move, they buffed this pretty early in the game so that it hits full screen. And the main thing about it is that it beats projectiles and you can't hit it and you can follow up. As in, like this. So he has a move to fight characters from mid-range, and he has a move to fight characters that run away. But then also he has really good buttons for mid-range as well. He has 2S, 5H, and these moves change as he levels up in blood. So where you would have a restriction of not being able to use special moves, you're able to use your normals much more liberally. And in this season, they made it so that his slash attacks are even faster when you have more blood. So if you're going to use 2S as an example, this is the normal one. Then this is blood level 1. And lastly, this is blood level 2. For another example, one that people are probably more familiar with from the previous version, this is his normal 5H, doesn't hit that far. So this is the blood level 1 5H, still not quite, but definitely bigger and faster. And then once you get to blood level 2, so approaching the him exploding and becoming an angry vampire, this is his 5H, so it hits much further and it is quite fast. So this is his 5H in blood level 3, it's much further than normal. Of course, we have to talk about damage output too. So where he doesn't take a lot of damage, he does do a lot of damage. Honestly, it's quite trivial too. I could basically just press buttons and do a combo with him. That's a pretty simple combo. It did like 40-ish% to Milia. More optimized combos would do slightly more damage in this, depending on whether or not it's countering it or whatever. And he usually gets his resource back at the end because he has moves that reduce his blood meter. But while the damage output is important, the bigger thing and the thing that makes people really feel the impact of what he does is that he combos off all of his hits. So for example, Milia, if I'm like at this range, I don't really get a good combo without meter. So I could do this. That didn't even combo that range. I'd have to be a little bit closer for that. My fart slash is kind of weird range wise. So like I have to be here to get like this combo, and it doesn't do a lot of damage. The knockdown is like okay, good. Like I get a mix-up opportunity, but there's better ways I can knock down than that. Nago, if he hits you with this, 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 if he hits you with anything at all, it will lead into a combo. So the main thing being that he can cancel special moves into special moves. So where he probably wouldn't really get much off this normally, he is able to really push confirms because of his special cancel options. All these together make for a character that has really good normals, really good screen control, that's hard to kill because he has a lot of HP, but will do a ton of damage to you. Out of the win conditions in this game, his is overall fair. Even though he's a top tier, he does strike throw, so the defender always does have a chance to get out because he has to grab you. But specifically, if he does grab you, he's in a very, very strong spot. To me, this grab is kind of like the icing on the cake with all the other stuff. Those are basically the reasons why Nagoriyuki is top tier. So while he has the typical big body problems, they have actually done a pretty good job in this game of making sure big bodies don't just get zoned out or lamed out like normally. Like all the big bodies have tools to kind of get around people playing defensively, which actually make them pretty hard to play against. So he's actually a rare example of a top tier big body character, is what I would say. But I feel like they've just been making big bodies and like pro tag characters just better in general. For another easy example of a top tier big body character, you can go back to Dragon Ball and look at Broly. I think in the current version of Dragon Ball, he's still considered really good. People started thinking he was top tier around season 3. And it's another like one of these, just like so much screen presence and so much threat all the time. Let me know what you guys think though. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.